I don't have a foot fetish, but if he has one, cool. If the personality is fire, cool. But like, if you don't want my feet, like,
right?
Why are you here?
It's weird because you're like, ew, I don't like that. But also, if you're gonna have it, it better be mine. It's gonna be mine. Yeah. Like, you better like mine more than anyone else's.
And if the thing is, like, if we're like in the middle of like getting intimate and stuff, and feet have to be a thing, like that's a requirement, and it has to be other feet. I'm probably gonna be like, no.
I'm a fucking type of way about that.
Yeah, and if it's like a non-negotiable, we probably can't. We can't. I don't see it working.
Yeah.
It's just it makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
And I do not want to feel bad in moments of intimacy. So,
true.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't want foot in first place is we don't want foot fetish. Mm-hmm. However, in second place, if we have to have foot fetish, you better be fetishizing my feet. Mm-hmm. Above anybody else's.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But anything in between is also not good. It's one or the other.
Especially if it's monogamous. Like,
yeah, if it's monogamous, the only feet you can fetishize are mine. I think that for me, it depends on how severe the foot fetish is, and likewise, like, let's say like he doesn't like my feet are not the kind of feet he wants to fetishize. Like that would make me feel some kind of way too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think it can also go too far if my feet have to be involved in the fetish, because like I want to be able to decide if like that is going to be involved in whatever we're doing. And if it's not, and if that ruins it, like if it's like, not today, like, you know, and it's like, well, you know, this is all I want to do. It's like, that would be a lot for me too. Yeah.
Like there's gotta be some kind of compromise.
I don't know if we can compromise with the foot fetish though.
I don't think so.
I don't know if there's compromise in that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say if my feet have to be involved every time, I'm going to say from a 10 to a 7. If he doesn't, if it's other people's feet and not mine, I'm just gonna say no. Yeah. My answer is no.
Like, so it's gotta be me, bro.
Like 2. Like it's not gonna happen.
It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be me. We prefer nothing, but it has to be us. So that's that.
Worship my feet.
Yeah. Okay. He's a 10, but chews loudly with his mouth open. Ugh. 0. I have misophonia. So even if you chew loudly with your mouth closed, you're still going to annoy me. Or if you chew silently with your mouth open, you're still going to annoy me.
I also just don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, I don't want to see
disgusting.
It. Once food goes into your face, it should disappear into the ether.
Like, please do not let me see.
It should be like babies with object permanence, where like the food is gone, like it doesn't exist anymore once it's in your face. I shouldn't see it again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so chews loudly with his mouth. Yeah, it is. Wait, hold on. How does Cleveland say it? That's nice.
That's nasty. Is that, that's nasty. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The nasty girl.
That's a hard no.
I've been a nasty girl. So like chews loudly with his mouth. Here's the real question. You're on a date with a 10. Fire personality, fire face, fire body, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Everywhere, 10, 10, 10. But then you realize on the date, he chews loudly with his mouth open. Do you say, you know what? I'm going to just walk away. I'm going to let you do you. I'm going to let you finish. Do we let him finish? Or do we say, okay, so we will have to talk about this.
I'll talk about it first. Like,
it's okay to ask people to change on the first date.
Okay. Yeah, first,
because you got to get through the dinner. The first bite, he's shown you how he gets down.
Yeah. I guess I just wonder, like if I don't bring it up now.
Exactly. How long are you going to wait till you bring it up?
Right. But then it's like, if I do bring it up,
are you being extra? Are you being controlling? Right. Are you being criticism? Like I said, criticism is not a love language.
Yeah. Like
that is my motto. Criticism is not a love. It doesn't mean you can't give constructive criticism.
Yeah.
It also doesn't mean that you can't acknowledge that something that is really bothersome or triggering to you can be something that someone else decides they don't want to deal with.
Right. Like asking on a first date, I would ask with the expectation that they're not going to like immediately take offense, hopefully. Yeah. I don't know, but the thing is, like, yeah, you don't know, like, you just met this person, so like, I don't know. I guess I want to believe that like there's somebody who will like hear that and be like, oh, okay, yeah, like I can do that, you know. But you don't know Yeah. So I guess
you don't know if they'll be offended.
Yeah, in my head, it's like a gamble where you're like, okay, do I say something? Do I wait till do I give it a chance and see if it changes next date? You know, like, I don't know.
It's such a trigger for me that the moment it happened, I would have to say something because I could feel myself getting irritated and not being myself if I don't say anything. But I would try to say it diplomatically.
Right.
I also would wonder, like, I'm 39, so presumably the youngest I would probably date this is going to seem super, super young, but a youngest I'd probably date is like 24, 25.
That's not that crazy.
It's not that crazy, but I would wonder how you made it this long without somebody bringing this up to you before me. Did you just come from a family full of savages where they all eat this way and it's normal? I would have these questions going on in my head. How did you make it out of college chewing with your fucking mouth open?
Yeah, I don't know.
Loudly. Like a camel. How did you get here? How did we get... Wait, Deborah Cox. How did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. How did we get here? So yeah, I would say it diplomatically, but in my mind, I'd be like, really? I'd be like, really?
No, I feel like
really?
If you're pushing 40, there's like no excuse.
Well, I mean, I don't, no.
Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
But even just out of college, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
No.
Like, it's not.
That shit is annoying. So for me, it's going to be a 0. Because I can't, it's one of those things that like, when you're young, it's one of those things that you think you can like work through because it's not that big of a deal. And as you get older, you realize those little things that you deal with every single day in a relationship that will drive you fucking insane. It's one of those things. And eating is something that's really important to me. I'm a foodie. I want to be able to share the act of eating with my partner.
Right.
And I have a hard time even considering dating someone who doesn't like the same food as me. That, you know, so those two things, liking the same food and chewing politely, you know, and it's as if you have some table manners. That's something you do multiple times a day, every day for the entire rest of your relationship.
Right.
It is not a small thing. So if on the first date everything else is fire and that is like no thank you, then for me it's no thank you. Or you have to be open to hearing the constructive criticism and making room to, you know, have adjustments go on.
Yes.
And again, I have to think of something similar. Like there's things that I do that are very annoying to other people. As someone neurospicy, I might not be able to control that though. Story time. I went on a date with someone in Florida before I left to go back to New York. So it had to be pre-2016. So let's say between 2013 and 2015, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I went on one date with a guy who I should not have even gone on a date with because the phone conversations had some trouble. There were some bumps in the road, even in the phone conversation. But I was desperate. And he was willing to date me. And one of the first things he's seen my pictures. I've had short hair forever. He's seen my pictures. He knows what's going on. So the first thing he says when we sit down is like, "You look really great with a ponytail." Like an Ariana ponytail. And I was like,
what?
You know, I'm not going to knock him because some guys just get nervous and like just stuff just blurts out of their mouths and they don't know what they're saying and it's fine. And I gave him an out. I said, "I also look really great like this." I gave him an out. And he said, "I don't want your out." He said, "You would also look really great with a ponytail."
Jeez.
And I was like, okay.
That was the phone conversation?
No, that was the date. That was on the date.
Jesus.
That was on the date. The first thing he said when we sat down in the booth. So I was like, wow, we haven't even ordered drinks yet, and I'm in trouble.
Oh, How did the rest of that go?
Say that again? What?
How did the rest of that day go?
How do you think it went?
Did you leave?
No, you know what? It was one of those situations where, like, I was actually hungry and I really needed to eat. So if I was just, like, a little peckish, I would have been like, you know what? Let's just not do this. But I was actually like, if I had left, like I would have had some blood sugar problems. So I decided to stay and eat and just try to like force myself through this date. And pretty quickly, my jaw started cracking.